All right, let's dive right into this explainer and discover the secret fuel that drives continuous corporate improvement and innovation. Have you ever wondered why some teams just seem to effortlessly innovate and solve problems, while others, constantly get stuck in the mud? Well, today we're breaking down the exact mechanics of how high-performing teams actually operate. We'll be relying on two massive concepts: organizational citizenship behavior, or OCB, and quality circles. It's time to completely demystify what makes work actually work.
There's this brilliant quote by Kaoru Ishikawa that perfectly sets up our core narrative. A company's ultimate success depends entirely on how well its people collaborate. I mean, think about it. It's not just about having the absolute best technology or the deepest pockets of venture capital funding. It is quite literally about the human beings on the floor and how they choose to work together, cooperate, and communicate every single day.
So here's our very quick agenda for today. First, the secret to team success. Second, understanding quality circles. Third, the 5 dimensions of OCB. Fourth, how OCB powers teams. Fifth, real-world corporate success. And finally, 6, the reality check.
Okay, let's jump into Section 1, the secret to team success. The real secret to team success isn't just about checking the boxes on your job description. It's really about shifting from being a basic task performer to a committed partner in the organization's mission. It's that magical psychological transition where an employee stops crossing their arms and saying, "Hey, that's not my job," and actually starts leaning in and saying, "Okay, how can we fix this together?" When employees make this fundamental shift, the entire trajectory of a company changes. They aren't just clocking in and out anymore, they're actively invested in the outcome.
Moving on to Section 2, understanding quality circles. First, let's talk about the fuel. Think of organizational citizenship behavior, a concept developed by Dennis Organ, as the high-octane fuel for your team. This is all about voluntary, discretionary employee behaviors. It's the extra effort employees give that absolutely isn't formally rewarded in their paycheck, but it's exactly what keeps the company running smoothly. Now, just to be clear, true altruism here is about genuine support. It's not just bringing a box of donuts to the break room to win some popularity points, right? It's the person who consistently stays 5 minutes late to help a totally overwhelmed new hire figure out the software, or the worker who quietly cleans up a safety hazard they didn't even create. So, if OCB is the fuel, quality circles are the engine. These are small, voluntary groups of employees who actively meet up to identify, analyze, and solve work-related problems. Their whole goal is to improve quality, productivity, and innovation. They're basically the tactical units driving the business forward. But here is the massive catch. An engine cannot run without fuel. A quality circle is really just an empty, totally unproductive meeting if the employees don't bring that voluntary extra-mile energy, that OCB, to the table. You can schedule the meeting, sure, but you literally cannot mandate the enthusiasm. All right, Section 3, the 5 dimensions of OCB.
So what actually makes up this high-quality fuel? Well, it boils down to 5 core dimensions. First, altruism, simply taking the time to help your colleagues out when they're stuck on a difficult task. Second, conscientiousness, going way beyond the absolute minimum standards of your job, showing up prepared and genuinely caring about the details. Third, sportsmanship, maintaining a positive attitude even when things get tough, annoying, or slightly unfair, which means no dramatic sighing at every new email. Fourth, courtesy, checking in with others to prevent interpersonal conflicts before they even start, which honestly is just basic professional respect. And finally, civic virtue, actively participating in the life of the organization, like attending those optional meetings or even just reading the company newsletter. When an employee brings these 5 traits to a quality circle, the results are just explosive in the best way possible. Let's look at Section 4, how OCB powers teams. When people actually bring this OCB fuel into quality circles, it sparks incredible tangible benefits. Because people are actively helping each other out, again, that's altruism, teamwork naturally flourishes without needing trust falls or mandatory corporate retreats. Because they have civic virtue, they contribute ideas well beyond their assigned roles, which drastically improves problem solving. Courtesy enhances open communication and reduces friction, which builds massive, unshakable trust. And perhaps most importantly, it facilitates continuous improvement, a concept known as Kaizen. Plus, when people actually demonstrate good sportsmanship, they complain a lot less about new initiatives, and that significantly reduces the usual toxic resistance to organizational change.
Just think about a team running on empty versus one fueled by OCB. The impact is undeniably clear. A team without OCB sticks strictly to formal tasks. They experience high conflict and generate super limited ideas. You've probably worked on a team exactly like this, where no one wants to stick their neck out or offer an idea for fear of just being assigned more work. But on the flip side, a team with OCB enjoys deep trust, a culture of continuous organic improvement, and ultimately much better quality at significantly lower costs. The fueled team generates vastly superior ideas and possesses a huge competitive advantage. It really is night and day.
Section 5. Real-world corporate success. Let's take this off the whiteboard and into the real world, shall we? Between 2023 and 2026, major corporations saw absolutely huge returns from this dynamic. Toyota Kirloskar Motor runs heavily on Kaizen, where employees voluntarily step up and suggest incredibly effective manufacturing improvements right from the ground floor. Tata Steel relies heavily on continuous improvement teams for vital safety initiatives, really utilizing peer-to-peer knowledge sharing. Maruti Suzuki leans on participative management, bringing shop floor employees directly into productivity and quality enhancement conversations. And it's not just heavy manufacturing either. Infosys uses collaborative innovation platforms to get digital employees to share ideas well beyond their formal roles. These massive successes are all driven entirely by that OCB fuel we've been talking about. And, we have to ground this in today's reality. In the era of Industry 4.0, which features AI-driven manufacturing, automation, and digital quality management, the workplace is changing incredibly fast. Plus, with massive national initiatives like Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat aiming for world-class quality practices, relying on employee-driven continuous improvement isn't just a nice-to-have anymore. You really can't just coast. Continuous learning, adaptability, and voluntary knowledge sharing are absolute strategic necessities for any company hoping to survive and thrive today. Finally, Section 6, the reality check. But here's the reality check, right? You can't just expect a high-performance engine to run perfectly on its own without proper ongoing maintenance. Despite its immense benefits, OCB alone cannot magically ensure quality circle success. If this voluntary fuel faces poor leadership, weak or non-existent reward systems, a total lack of training, or zero top management support, the engine will inevitably stall. It's just human nature. You cannot realistically ask employees to continually go above and beyond if management isn't doing the exact same thing to support them. So there's a strict dependency chain for this to actually work in practice. Step 1 is top management support. The leaders literally have to completely buy in. That essential support leads directly to providing proper training in Step 2. Those two foundational elements combined act as the vital ignition key that allows organizational citizenship behavior to naturally flourish in Step 3. And finally, all of that activates effective, high-performing quality circles in Step 4. The voluntary OCB is completely essential for sure, but make no